Boom, welcome to episode 10, I believe. I think this one will be the 10th one. If not, it'll be the 9th one, but I'm pretty sure it's the 10th one. Maybe the 11th one. Pretty sure it's the 10th. Interesting Sunday nighter. We got 2 Monday nighters. We're going to have a busy next few Sunday, Mondays, potentially Tuesdays here, so we'll try to cover everything if possible. If we can record before all the news changes with these COVID outbreaks, then we'll do it. If not, we'll just stick to our standard Sunday, Monday. But we got Rams 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Monday night, we got the early game, Chiefs Bills, and then the late game, we got Cardinals Cowboys. Taryn, you mentioned this right before the show. Look to do on the Monday night either Showdown or 2-game slate option, maybe even a 3-game slate option if they do it with the Sunday nighter. I'm really liking the Monday night lines or games more so than the Sunday nighter. But Taryn, you want to hop into what you're thinking for some Sunday, Monday football?
Well, that Sunday nighter kind of two teams coming in on very different levels. You got the 49ers losing to the Dolphins last week, 43-17, getting kind of demolished on all parts of the field. They did not look good. They couldn't stop anything on defense. Their one cornerback is a rookie, and he got just gashed by every receiver coming at him. And then the Rams looked great. They kind of just outperformed Washington. I mean, that's not your toughest competitor, but they've been playing quite well, and especially their defense has looked really good. So you got kind of a game where typically we'd see a shootout, but I'm seeing more of maybe a low-scoring game here with kind of the defense standing up on the Rams side and then maybe leaning more on the run. But overall game script, who knows with the 49ers right now. It looked like Mostert stepped right back in and took over that backfield. McKinnon kind of got put in for one catch, I think, for the whole game. Didn't look great. Garoppolo got yanked in the second quarter for CJ Beathard. And then, you got the Rams who looked great. You had Henderson kind of perform in the backfield, but that backfield's so full of guys. They got Akers, they got Brown, they got Henderson. So you're going to have to pick right if you're playing Showdown with that kind of running back look. But their defense seems like a great option in this matchup. Regardless which quarterback's playing, both of them tend to just give up to the defense. Garoppolo's susceptible to picks, so is Beathard. And sack-wise, their offensive line hasn't looked great so far. So I like targeting kind of the Rams side of the ball. Maybe mixing in a quarterback wide receiver stack with Woods. Robert Woods has been running a lot of routes, and maybe captaining him because he seems to be the guy they go to on most of the kind of short down work. But not only that, but he tends to be their wide out on the outside. Kupp hasn't seen as much action, and the 2 tight ends are kind of mixing it up. But lately it's been Gerald Everett more than Higbee. So now you got like a toss-up. So I think you lean on the guy who's reliable in Woods, or you go to Mostert, who seems to be the main running back in San Fran, or the Rams D. Those are kind of the 3 captains I liked right away. I didn't like either quarterback in this game.
Yeah, I liked potentially... See, I'm a little bit of the opposite. I think taking Jared Goff... I think there's 2 players you almost have to take. I think it's Goff and I think it's Kittle. I think those 2 are going to be the ones you're going to almost have to have, just because you're going to have to guess right on the receiver or on the run game. But Goff's been averaging over 20, close to 25 points. I think it's 23 or something points a week. I don't expect that to decline in this game, even if it's going to be a low-scoring game. I do like taking the Rams defense, though, and then also looking at potentially 49ers kicker, Gould.
Yep.
Other than that, I think on both sides I'm a little bit confused on running backs. You're probably going to be guessing a little bit because there's about 4 options that could really pop off. But yeah, it should be. I think it'll be a boring game, but nothing else on a Sunday, so might as well watch it. But what are you thinking? What are you thinking about on the next night? Next Monday night's a little bit more exciting. We got 2 games, and I'm looking forward to both of them, especially Andy Dalton suiting up for Dak's nasty injury last week. I don't know if you caught that on the TV, but the one announcer who's like, "Let's just hope it's a cramp."
Yeah.
But what are you thinking? What are you thinking for for Monday night, knowing that we do have the Bills playing right now, so they do get almost a full week off, or a full week. I can't do math right now. But, yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, I'll kind of dive into that first game because that's the afternoon spot. The Chiefs-Bills, this should be a bit of a blow-up spot. I don't know. I watched a good portion of the first half, mostly through my phone, on the game tonight in Tennessee. Tannehill dominated the Bills, and Tre'Davious White on the corner, he was out tonight. So their defense, and I think they're missing a linebacker as well to injury. So they looked really bad, that defense. Tannehill he ran for one, and he threw, 3 total touchdowns in that game. They won 42-20. Josh Allen looked pretty bad. He threw 3 picks, I think, by the end of that game. He was kind of trying to force the ball in a lot. With that said, he always seems to get points regardless. So I think this game is just fire up everyone. It's kind of that both QBs are awesome, and I think in this scenario you play both of them in the same lineup wherever you can. Kelsey's going to destroy this defense like he has all year. He hasn't really stopped. He went over 100 last week on 9 receptions and I think a touchdown. And then I don't love CEH being Edwards-Helaire. I forget his first name.
CEH, yeah, Clyde.
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There it is. They tend to lean pass heavy, and Mahomes just puts up fantasy points regardless if they lose. Last week they did end up losing to the Raiders, so they're going to come up back with some fire. So I think Mahomes is going to shoot to just throw this game and then get a huge lead in it. Although I don't think the Bills are a bad opponent to play that style of game. I think you go with the main targets for both quarterbacks, and it looks like based on tonight's game, Diggs is the target. He's getting 13-14 targets with John Brown out. And then you can lean to guys like Isaiah McKenzie, who caught a touchdown and got a few passes tonight, Gerald Davis, and then Beasley still gets his little dump downs in the middle, and you hope he runs in. On the other side, Sammy Watkins is out now for the season, I believe, or not the season, at least 2 to 4 weeks, something like that. And so you can lean to Kelsey Hill. Probably now that gives room for Mecole Hardman to step into a more sustainable role. He'll see more downs. And then both kickers in this game are great. Both guys are pretty good. I've leaned towards Butker. He tends to kick the deeper field goals, but I'd probably lean all offensive in this game. And the only way you want to get different is to play defenses, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an all-out shootout. I have played actually Butker in the last few Kansas City showdowns, and it's paid off big time. He's been putting up anywhere from 9 to I think 14 points, which when you get down to those last little bit of dollars and the kicker gets you that many points, it really pays off for you. One player you didn't touch on that I kind of like, he's usually pretty cheap now, but he can put up points when he needs to, especially with a receiver out, is Demarcus Robinson on KC. He'll probably only be like, I think 1,600 is what he usually, I guess in Showdown it'll be a little bit more, but I think that's another sleeper option potentially. And then on the Bills there, you mentioned Isaiah McKenzie tonight. This past Sunday slate, only $800, so another good bargain pick right there. Sure, obviously probably go up a little bit, but still you're looking at probably $2,000 to $3,000. Great choices. What are you thinking about the late night game?
I actually like this game more, I think, out of the 3. It seems like the most fun. Kyler Murray came back in that game. He looked pretty good. He ran the ball well. He finally hit Hopkins. It was my only good lineup last week was I played Murray to Hopkins, but I included Drake thinking they'd blow that game out, and I ran it back with Crowder, who had an awesome game too. So, I mean, you just look to Kyler Murray in that offense, maybe Hopkins, Christian Kirk seeing a lot of action. I'm done with Kenyon Drake. He looks horrible. Like he's getting 15 carries for like 25 yards. His average is like under 3. He just looks slow. Like they bring in Chase Edmonds in that first play of the game and he gets a 21-yard run for a touchdown. So I think you go to Chase Edmonds as one of your options over Drake if you're going to build a lineup. And the one cool part about Kyler Murray stacking is that you can include a running back. He's throwing the ball a lot to his running backs, and Chase Edmonds is actually the guy who's getting the pass down work. So you could include him in, say, your Hopkins, Kyler Murray, and you'd include Edmonds in that stack. Because overall, those are the kind of the 3 guys I like the best on that. If you want to take a shot, you go to Isabella maybe, or you go to Christian Kirk over Hopkins, and maybe say this isn't the Hopkins game, because I'm sure he'll be probably the highest priced receiver in that game. Go to the other side. The nice part for Dallas in this scenario, even though it's not a great scenario, is that they have a serviceable quarterback. They don't have a quarterback who can't play football like we're seeing in some of the other teams. So you're going to see Andy Dalton come in, and he's playable. He looked great to Gallup and CeeDee Lamb in that tail end of that game. I think Patrick Peterson's still on the corner for Arizona, but he doesn't look like a shutdown corner comparable to because Amari Cooper did get shut down last week. But overall, I think you can play all the guys. CeeDee Lamb's my favorite. He's been getting the most work out of all the wide receivers there in Dallas. You can look kind of down the line to, I think it's Cedric Wilson.
Yeah.
He tends to get the deep ball plays. And then there's a few. Noah Brown also gets a few. Like if you really want to take a shot, you could also look to some defense on Arizona's side if you think Dalton might have his kind of bad new game. But he's not a quarterback who's too bad in that regard. But what do you think the Cowboys are going to do now? They're still leading that division at 2-3. So.
I wouldn't know anything about cheering for bad divisions in football.
Yeah.
But everything, again, you mentioned some good points about the running back situation in Arizona that I was not familiar with. I took Drake last weekend, same as you, and it was very underwhelming. I got a little bit excited. I think he had 1 rushing touchdown.
He did, yeah.
But, again, it's one of those showdowns, if you're going to be playing showdown, where you almost have to have Hopkins and Murray in some of your lineups, because week after week after week, it's just been, that's usually going to get you a majority of your points. I think the interesting side and the real differentiator here is going to be either taking, Arizona defense and having potentially that. I don't think that's the case, but I think it's finding the right receiver with Dalton and who's really going to be getting all the targets. I don't really watch Dallas too much. I'd be kind of interested in ownership on Elliott. Do you think it's just going to be generally high just because it's Elliott, or do you think things are going to get switched up because of the QB situation? I mean, usually when it's someone new, they tend to give the run game a bit more of a advantage, but
yeah, all the speculation right now from all the kind of guys on TV there, NFL Today and everything, is that they're gonna go back to old ways in Cowboy land where they just lean on Zeke. I think the nice part about Zeke is that he's playing quite the passing down role now too. So I really like, if you're gonna play the 2-game slate in this, really stacking up Dalton. I actually kind of like playing that side the most on this 4-gamer, because everybody's gonna run to Mahomes or Allen if you're playing the 2-game. But what you could do instead is maybe go Dalton with Zeke with Lamb, and then run it back with DeAndre Hopkins and Edmonds, and then really stack these games that won't be the popular ones. Because one thing we know about the Chiefs is that Spagnuolo will really line up a defense to play against the team he's facing. So he'll really lean on getting Diggs out of the game, or he'll pick the player he doesn't want to do well. And Allen without Diggs tends to just not look great. He doesn't have anybody else. So maybe being able to change up a bit in this slate, and even in the showdown slate, leaning on the Dalton side, maybe captaining Dalton with Zeke, with Lamb, with even Gallup. He looked really good last week, and maybe fading Amari Cooper, just trying to get really different, and then bringing maybe Edmonds back, or trying to go away from who everybody's going to stack in that captain spot, because I don't think people like Dalton as much, and they'll really lean towards Kyler Murray.
Awesome. Well, that was some great insight into these 3 games here. I'm learning stuff every single week here. So if anyone is watching this and you've gotten at least one good pick, one good player who you're like, I never thought about that, and you picked it and it did well for you, you should subscribe. That'd be sick. But yeah, we'll probably see you guys all next week there. Maybe next week will be week 7. So,
yep.
And if you're watching this on Monday, we'll see you tomorrow or Wednesday.